Good morning, everybody. Hi. Um, this is a new experience for me. Normally, I am doing the questioning and everybody else is answering me, so I am on this side now. But let me start by saying thank you for taking part in this panel. And we are going to be talking about the challenges of trying to rejuvenate the industry from this stagnant period that we're going through. I want to start with Mr. Kachru, if you could start by giving a little background and then starting us off.
Thanks, Bikramjit. Some of us were very shocked to hear that there was no tourism policy till 1982. There was no official document. That's how the industry was taken at that stage. So before we talk about challenges, what we have and what a road ahead lies for us, I think we need to see what went wrong and what needs to be fixed. I think first of all, we actually had to recognize we are a huge revenue generating asset. And employability in our segment is very, very high. And this serves to the promises which are made literally on day-to-day basis now. As a hotel industry, we have to recognize that we may make big slogans, we may have great targets, unless we have enough flights, enough excess, how are we going to fill up the rooms? But I think one subject we should really ponder upon, discuss, is infrastructure.
Mr. Lamba, what I wanted to ask you is, the nature of the industry is changing. Less hoteliers, more developers are now coming into the hotel industry. What is it doing now because of that? Because the developer, who's a real estate developer, wants to now build hotels. So how is that affecting the industry?
I think the fact that we are broad-basing the industry is a good thing for the industry. It brings fresh capital, more investment into the industry. It obviously brings its own challenges of getting people into the industry who may not fully have anticipated or understood the needs of the industry or how it operates and how it works. So there's been some pain that we've seen over the last few years with the industry taking a downturn. But that's part of the cyclical nature of this industry. So if just to keep to the point that you're asking me, I think it's a welcome change. We would like more and more investors to get into this industry and therefore broad base the capital requirement that this industry has. It's a very capital intensive industry and we would need more investors to come in rather than just hoteliers.
One of the issues which a lot of hoteliers that I've spoken to have spoken about is the issue of debt, because a new hotel is perceived to be a stressed asset as soon as it is built. How do you think that we can really challenge that issue?
Today, what's the real play? We are borrowing capital at 13–14%, which in any case is obnoxious in terms of the interest that we pay. But that's not the only problem. The second part of the problem is that our repayment term is very small. You get 8 years to repay that loan, which puts the stress on the asset. The minute you get into an infrastructure lending, and when we are recognized as we get infrastructure status, we get a longer repayment period. This 8 years becomes 15 years, and the 13 or 14% comes down to 8, 9 or 10%. Both these augur extremely well for the industry. I think that's what the need is.
Now let me turn to Mr. Farhat Jamal, who is the area manager for Shangri-La in India. The nature of hoteliering is changing. So what is the challenge operationally of running a hotel now that is, and with the stagnation, how do we come out of it?
I think one of the key things we need to understand today is that the evolving customer expectations today. As an industry, I think not just in the luxury segment or across all segments today, I think there's a huge change that's happening, and hotels need to be prepared for addressing those evolving expectations of the customer. And this is largely driven by the technology that's coming into play. And how quickly does the industry embrace new technology to ensure that they use the technology for bringing and operating efficiencies, to make sure that systems and processes get better, make sure that the communication systems get better, the service standards get better use of technology going forward. And I think there's as Mandeep rightly said, today the capital investment in any hotel is enormous. And how do you ensure that you get that ROI over a certain period of time? And I think technology will come to play a very, very important role. Also, I mean, to ensure that how to use the distribution networks today. The change is so rapid, and we have seen this change even in the last few years. And I read this every day that, what is new in the space of technology to ensure that you take advantage of the new age traveler who wants everything customized. And the big thing in the future is going to be, according to me, is that more customization is going to come in, more personalization is going to come in, whether it is intelligent furniture, whether it is customized food, whether it is nutritional habits, and many other things, really. That's the challenge going forward.
So you're going to give us healthier meals?
Well, not just healthier meal, it's going to be more customized. I think the customer is going to say that I want this, 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 this. And the hoteliers will need to find ways of making sure that you meet those demands. Safety, security is going to become increasingly important. And how do you ensure that you have systems and processes and checks and balances to make sure that the customer is safe in the hotel? I think that's going to be a big challenge going forward.
Mr. Kachu, you've been around in this industry for a long time. It's kept you young. Now, can you tell us what is the shift been? How has it changed in the last 10 years, where the last 10 years has been the period of the fastest change? So what have you seen in front of you, and how has it gone better? Has it become worse? What are the new challenges now?
I think things are very positive, and people are more focused. And if you look at an umbrella situation, I'm sorry about my throat. If you look at umbrella situation, I think there is more focus on India, which is being promoted as a brand. We are still confused to a certain extent. I mean, we're trying to do too many things at the same time, whether it's heritage, leisure, and so on. I think we need to be sure about that. In terms of what has really changed is technology. I think technology has taken over in a big way, and it's helping people. And we have started recognizing and doing some self-assessment of what's wrong with us. There was a time we didn't expect or accept situations. If we felt that's the way a 5-star deluxe or a premium hotel is run, that's how it was. But things have changed. Customer mix, customer demands have changed. And technology has helped all of us to work this out.
Okay, when we're speaking of youngsters, I'll come to the youngest panelist, who is actually a school friend of mine. This is Zia Sheikh, and he is the CEO of Svenska Design Hotels. He's the newest hotelier in this panel for sure. So Zia, what is the challenges in your view, a new group starting out? What are the ways that you're dealing with the industry and, of course, the market?
Our idea of the market and in India is that the industry is very old. It's been around for many years, but it's not really changed, except for the last, I would say, 7-8 years when you've started having segmentation happen. Earlier it was, you've got the luxury, large format, 5-star hotels, and then there are a whole host of other hotels where you could have surprises every time you go there. It could be good or it could be bad surprises. What we've tried to bring into the market is basically a concept where you could do a boutique hotel, provide personalized services, but on a consistent basis across multiple properties. The challenge I see in India is largely around not just, the cost of funding, but also around licenses, around the time it takes to complete a hotel. Whether you're a 50-room hotel or a 500-room hotel, you still need those 100+ licenses in most of the cities in this country. On the flip side, I see the opportunity really in this country, not so much in just targeting that 5, 6, 7 million of those international visitors and travelers who are coming to this country, but really the huge domestic market which exists in this country. And I think that market has been largely ignored because typically these larger 5-star hotels have catered to either the foreign clientele or they've catered to a very small segment of the Indian clientele, the CEOs, the VPs, directors of companies. But the bulk of the travel which tends to happen in this country is really at the mid-level, the lower level. It's like a pyramid. And I think that started getting addressed around 8 years back with some chain hotels, Lemon Tree and Keys and some of these brands which came in, and Ginger, of course. And there is a huge opportunity which exists in that space. And I think given the fact that India actually has the largest amount of domestic travel in the world, full stop. We are 0.64% of the international visitors coming here, but as a domestic market, we are the largest market. And that's really our focus as well, to cater to them. We are addressing the mid-scale to the upscale segment within that, and I see a huge amount of opportunity in that segment.
I'd like to add to what Zia said. I think most of you know that domestic expenditure on tourism, just the domestic, is presently 82 billion, and it's likely by 2024 to go to $157 billion. It's really huge. And I think all brands are trying to really segment the market and working towards it. There was a time, everybody wanted to make only a 5-star hotel, whether it was viable or it was not viable. They just wanted to be there. Having said that, what is really pleasing and what is really good is brand specifications are being adhered to now. Each brand or each individual who is developing these mid-market hotels are identifying, specifying brand specifications, and our customers will benefit from it.